This program is brought to you by Education, an organization that believes in taking education ahead, and it's powered by one of India's most upcoming and better known universities from the south in Chennai. It's the Sai University. Let's take a look at who our speakers are for today.
We have Dr. Hina Raj, Principal, Global Indian International School, Abu Dhabi, UAE. Dr. Raj has done her MA, MEd and PhD with over 30 years of experience. Her awards and recognitions include UNO 2006 International Award for Education Excellence, Rajiv Gandhi Peace Prize Award 2010, Jagadguru Shri Krishna Samman 2020, Lawn Tennis State Champion 2009-2010, contributed to CBSE's 21st Century Life Skills book and Joyful Learning. Her life motto is, be happy no matter what, do your best and leave to God the rest. And her COVID mantra is, it's an awesome opportunity. Welcome to our symposium, ma'am.
Having looked at these 4 or 5 C's in a holistic methodology, I'd like each of you principals now to tell us how do you manage to do this on the ground, because it's far easier said than done. I'll start with you, Dr. Hina. Pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Over to you.
Namaskar. Thank you, Chetan, for this wonderful platform. Thank you, EduMed. And taking the platform after Dr. Barucha is itself a challenge. And the purpose of education, as Sir has rightly mentioned, is to create employers and not employees. And when we talk about Lord Mackellar's British education, which was handed over to the Indian system, was to create employees to British employers. And there the challenge was, and how do you now bridge that gap? And for the first time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi stated earlier in the month of August 2020 that the new education policy, which was announced by the government, emphasizes on making job creators instead of job seekers. And this is an attempt to transform the intent and the content of the country's education system. And there is where the principle matters. I love this whole concept of principles matter as well as principles matter. So if you look at the Gen Z entrepreneurs are springing forth at such a startling rate that if you look at the recent study, the poll that found out that 40% of the students surveyed from grades 5 to 12 stated that they wanted to run their own business. Then 24% say that they already have started. At this rate, isn't it at all challenging to see that Gen Z, Gen Alpha will take over the most entrepreneurial generation? So in the school, what we need to give them is a platform where they can create, where we have to bridge the gap of the slavery mentality which was handed over. And if you look at the difference of the Indian curriculum, where thinking is, as we had seen that, Dr. Baruch also said that it's more about vomiting out in the 3 hours paper, reproducing whatever has been learned. And it is that kind of a race which will not more be anymore, it wouldn't be applicable. Now, when we see the kids, CEO kids becoming, it's so normal, isn't it, that we see that kids are CEOs. A large portion of Gen Z entrepreneurs is self-taught, utilizing Google, YouTube, and other platforms. So in the school now, the challenge is to rewire the brains and mindset of the educators, which is a very, very important aspect, rewiring our mental mind setup, for the simple reason that education should start from there where the child has stopped it. Information is available. It's an info-bomb age. We all know this. And so despite all that, Google, YouTube, still a significant chunk relies on mutual interest communities to sample ideas, get guidance, and make business decisions. So the school's responsibility is to ensure the financial education and the financial discipline to be inculcated amongst the children from early on. So it does seem to me that these young entrepreneurs are comfortable utilizing platforms created by millennials and earlier generations in the early internet age and building massive and expansive businesses. So platforms like, as I mentioned, Facebook, YouTube, Google, Amazon, Instagram have taken over the internet. And if we look at, I would like to state over here that it is this Gen Z, the Gen Alpha. If it isn't different, it isn't cool. This seems to be their mantra, and that works wonders. Everyone seems to be trying to reinvent the wheel or to disrupt whatever industry they are entering significantly. So ideas are not worth at all if they are not implemented. Dime a dozen ideas are there, but ideas are like babies. They have to be nurtured. So we have to welcome a lot of ideas from children. Like we have entrepreneurs, 9-year-old Rayan Kaji of the Rayan world, or who, I think that was in a YouTube channel that reportedly made about 22 million annually from YouTube, is a great example. Like that, Ritesh and Trishnit from CEO, he's the tech CEO, or Akhilendra, and you have Tilak as the CEO Papers. These were the named top 10 young Indian entrepreneurs list. So entrepreneurship education, like boot camps, we at Global Indian School, we have boot camps for entrepreneurship. So that is now, because a fantastic idea is worth nothing unless that is converted into a business opportunity. So the significance of entrepreneurship education in K-12 has become widely recognized in recent time. It focuses on 4 major components, which Dr. Barucha also mentioned, and you are talking about, and we are all talking about, is creativity, imagination, risk-taking, and collaboration. So now no more that scorpion mentality will work. It has to be a collaborative culture, and it has to be win-win. We need not come from a scarcity mentality. We have to come from an abundance mentality that, if you win, I can also win. Otherwise, we are usually trained that if you lose, I win. So we need to inculcate that confidence in children, that there is abundance of everything for everybody. At the top, there is enough space of that pyramid, and it's beautiful out there. And there is a lot of space where everybody can be occupied out there. So entrepreneurship education should start at an early age. And for instance, redesigned curriculum with NEP, if implemented, as rightly mentioned by you in the beginning, that if that implementation is to be seen, how personalized learning, it was Gurukula and now Google. So the journey from Gurukula to Google remains. It's a personalized learning. So
Right.
that is using, again, project-based learning methods. Financial literacy, as I mentioned, has to be part and parcel of, so we have introduced home economics for our children, starting from KG till grade 12. The depth would vary. So home economics is one technique which we are using. So there are diverse learning styles and embedded, in learning within the context of meaningful real life world activities that has to be connected. And so the way forward would be the fast rising technology is gradually reshaping our workspace, alerting the educationist, or reformulating or reinventing our system of schooling so as to align with the ever changing career scenario. As we are talking about that, those jobs won't be available anymore.
Yes.
So how do we navigate that to the newer world with confidence? That
Right.
confidence has to be inculcated. Like, I would like to have my closing statement with the Jean Piaget, that the principal goal of education is to create men who are capable of doing new things, not simply repeating what other generations have done. Men who are creative, inventive, and discoverers. Being an entrepreneur is a mindset. I repeat that being entrepreneur is a mindset, and the more we help our children to embrace entrepreneurship or mindset, the world will be continued to be a better place. So that's my take on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hina, for that impassioned, dissertation on entrepreneurship. I think it was beautifully put. I know you seem to feel for it yourself, which is really very important coming as being a leader, at your own institute. Thank you for outlining the historical significance as to why India was relegated to be an employee generation rather than an employer generation, thanks to the British rule, and how we had to get out of that mindset. I think that is a very important point to start off with. A very important understanding that ideas are only one very small, significant yet small part of an entrepreneurship exercise. It's implementation which is the larger role, which really takes a lot of what the other C's of commitment, confidence, creativity, critical thinking, course, collaboration is what you mentioned again was very very important. I strongly believe that this is the age of collaborative entrepreneurship, and that's an important understanding, of the entire scenario. So I think very well structured, and you almost covered all the flanks. But thank you for that.